Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're here today with another Pleasantview renovation, and this time we're in the Dreamer household. This one I struggled with a lot. I had like an idea of the kind of sort of vibe I wanted to go for when I went into this. I did want it to kind of feel a bit like a bachelor pad. Darren has obviously recently lost his wife and it's just him and his son Dirk. So I did want this to feel like quite like a manly, you know, kind of rough and tumble type of house. But I don't think I pulled that off. And maybe that's for the best because, I mean, Darren is a sort of artistic soul. So, I mean, he wouldn't live in like, you know, like the Grant house in Strangetown, for example. Like, that wasn't really what I was going for. But I did want it to be a bit more manlier. And I don't really think I pulled it off. There were so many points in this build where I was, you know, indecisive about what I wanted to put down, and I put something down, I changed it about 5 or 6 times before eventually going back to what I had the first time, and this took me ages. This is probably one of the sort of longer renovations, and that was purely because I didn't know what I wanted. And I don't know if that is because I'm not really a huge fan of the Dreamer family. And I've said this a couple times in my old Pleasantview Let's Play. I have said that I'm not a big Dreamer fan. I mean, personally, I always feel like the Dreamers are more like side characters rather than, you know, main Sims. Like, I never get excited to go into the Dreamer household. And I don't know what it is about them. I don't mind Dirk. Dirk's okay. So when Dirk ages up into a young adult, like I enjoy playing him and I enjoy telling his story. I just really don't like Darren. Darren I always find quite boring to play. Even when he has like drama that surrounds him and he has quite an interesting backstory, I don't know what it is. I don't like Darren Dreamer. And I can't furnish his house. So this is like my least favourite Pleasantview renovation. And this is probably one that I'm going to end up completely redoing. I'll probably wait to see who Darren ends up getting involved with, and then, you know, that person can bring, you know, their influence into the house, and we can sort of, you know, change it and adapt it to them as well. Because, I don't know, I'm not happy with this one. Also, I want to discuss the roof for a minute. I changed the sort of in-game lighting. And since I've done that, my roofs have been looking atrocious. And I know there is a mod that fixes the overly bright Maxis roofs, but I don't know where to find it. So if anyone knows what mod I'm talking about, can you please let me know? So I did think I had it in my game, but I obviously don't. If you caught at the very start of the video, the roof that was originally on this house was like glowing. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, we have picked the best of a bad bunch. And I do quite like the sort of grey outer design we've gone for. I mean, design's not really the right word. But I do like the sort of colour scheme. That's it. I do like the grey colour scheme we've gone for. When I originally started doing this build, I was streaming on Twitch, and I remember when I picked the mailbox, I was saying I really wanted to do like a nice colourful house to sort of reflect Darren's sort of artistic side. I feel like he wouldn't live somewhere like monochromatic and boring. You know, he would want something very nice and vibrant. And then the outside I pick grey. So, you know, it is what it is. But I do think it's nice. I really struggled with the window placement, as you can see. It took me ages to find a layout that I thought worked, and even then I'm still not completely happy with it. The shape of the house really bothered me. So I mean, honestly, this would probably just be like a bulldoze and start again type deal. I just think the back of the house is just a massive rectangle, so I feel like maybe some additions to the house could maybe give it a bit more intrigue and make it look a bit less boxy. Because I do quite like the porch at the front. I do think that's nice. But I couldn't get it to work properly. And I also think I said on stream as well, I was really bothered by the fact the porch isn't centered. Like, it's off to, I think it's the left-hand side. And that really bothered me as well. So everything looked a bit off. Like, I'm not very good with sort of builds and window placements and things anyway, but this house I really did struggle with. So yeah, this room up here, I haven't talked about this yet, but another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to give Dirk a bedroom upstairs. The upstairs in the Dreamer house is really big, but I felt like the space wasn't being used like effectively. So in the original house, Dirk's bedroom is downstairs, and this is all just like a weird upstairs landing area. So in Pleasantview, well, or in my Pleasantview, Darren usually always ends up with either Cassandra or Brandy, and usually both Cassandra and Brandy want more children, so that's what ends up happening. And I want this house to be equipped for more children, like off the bat, just so we can have them. So building the bedroom upstairs, this is where Dirk is just now, but he will hopefully be going off to university. And then this is kind of like a blank slate, I suppose. And then downstairs in Dirk's old bedroom, that is where we have like an art studio for Darren. So Darren's whole storyline is that after his wife died, he really got into art. So I kind of see him using art as like a therapy, and like art is how he is sort of working through his grief and things. And with this passion in art, he obviously wants to make a career out of it. So my thing for Darren is I usually sort of see him as he was very sort of career focused before. He was always out at work to give his family what they needed, like he was a provider. But then when there was an issue at home, he wasn't there, and, you know, tragically Darlene did die. So I do feel like he's carrying quite a lot of guilt about, you know, working away from home. So I think that, you know, from where Pleasantview starts, Darren's main kind of ambition is to be at home as much as possible. He wants to provide for his family, but he also wants to make sure he's taking care of his family. So I did want to give him a space where he could focus on his artwork and hopefully make something out of it. So we'll see how that goes, who knows. At the moment it is just like an easel in there, so maybe depending on what his one true hobby is, we can maybe get him like the pottery wheel or something, and then, you know, maybe he could make a friendship with Mary Sue, who's also into pottery and things. I mean, we'll see where it goes. But I'm ready to get playing now. I'm ready to get into the neighbourhood. I'm very excited for it. Now that I have all the Sims done, most of the houses, I just have Calientes and Dons to do, and I have left them until last because I think I said in one of my last videos, the condos are my least favourite to renovate. I don't like the diagonal walls, and I really struggle to use the space effectively in that house. So I always have a very strange floor plan, and I don't think it flows nicely, but, you know, they are a staple of Pleasantview, so we do what we can. But no, I am excited to play Pleasantview. I'm excited to get into it, and yeah, I've missed Pleasantview. I've missed it. I'm ready to come home. I'm still quite undecided about whether I want to do it for the channel or not. I think I might do though. I do think I might do. In terms of sort of videos and things, I have been a bit, I don't know, maybe lost with the kind of things I wanted to create, I suppose is the best way to describe it. I don't know. I've been very indecisive about things lately, and I don't like that. So I mean, I'm a naturally indecisive person anyway, and I usually change my mind about a million times on everything. But I do want to have sort of more of like a series focus again, like, you know, something that I do record. And I will be completely honest, I wasn't really enjoying Strange Town with a Twist. I don't know what it was. Like, I quite like Strange Town. Like, in terms of the sort of pre-made Sims neighbourhoods, Strange Town is probably one of my favourites. I think it would be Pleasantview, River Blossom Hills, and then Strange Town. But I don't know why I just wasn't feeling Strange Town with a Twist. I don't know. Pleasantview is my favourite. Pleasantview is the one that I have the most fun playing. So I want to get back to Pleasantview. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't really have much to talk about, to be honest. yeah, I guess I just need to figure out what we're doing. If you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to see, do let me know. I've also been considering bringing like a Sims 3 series back, because I did say in my 1 year sort of YouTube anniversary video that, you know, I don't want to be like a Sims only channel anymore, and I would like to, you know, introduce some other things to the channel, just so I don't sort of get like pigeonholed in. And while that is still true, I do want, you know, the Sims to still be like the core of the channel. So at the moment, my upload schedule is Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, and what I was thinking was I'd like those to stay Sim days. So I was thinking, you know, a Tuesday we could have like Sims 2 Pleasantview, Thursday we could have a Sims 3 thing, and then Sunday could be, you know, something else. And then any times I want to make other videos, you know, we could post them on like Mondays and Fridays, or Saturdays. I think that's also a day that's not used. Also Wednesdays? Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday or Saturday are the days that I don't post. So if I was going to introduce like other gameplay things, I would do those on non-sim days. Just so, if anything, they're just sort of seen as like a bonus video rather than replacing content that would already be on the channel. That's kind of what I was thinking. So let me know your thoughts on that. Yeah. I quite like how the kitchen turned out in this house. Not a massive fan of green. Like, green's probably one of my least favourite colours, so I don't know why I picked green for the entirety of this house. Like, there is a lot of green. There's green in the living room, there's green in Darren's room, and there's green in Dirk's room, and I'm not sure why I went for it, but I don't know, it just felt right. It just felt right. I did also be a bit of a sort of sneaky Pete here, and I did add some extra fans into the Dreamer household just so I could finish furnishing it. The downstairs came out quite expensive, so by the time I'd like blown through their budget, the upstairs was empty, so I did have to give them, I think I gave them an extra 10,000. So, you know, we gave them quite a lot to finish the build. And even then, it's not completely finished. The back deck is still empty, so that's something that we need to work on once we get in game. And, you know, there's still some other things I would like to add into the house. I feel like we need to do more in the upstairs landing area. And Dirk's room, I also feel could use like a bit of work. I mean, there's a lot of areas in the house that I would like to improve, but I didn't want to just do it off the bat. Like, I'd like them to have something to work towards once we start. Though money is an issue in the Dreamer household. Like, when you sort of load into the game, you might have noticed at the start of the video I was moving like piles and piles of bills into the front garden, just so I could build. But yeah, like, the story is, you know, Darren's a starving artist struggling to pay the bills, blah blah blah. And I think these bills come to like 900 simoleons. I mean, you're always fine once you sell the Rod Humble computer, which is what I'm going to do here. But money is an issue in the Dreamer household to begin with. Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. So usually Dirk has like a want to get a job, and I usually take that as him, you know, sort of shouldering the burden of the sort of family money troubles. And I also think that's like another issue that Darren has. Like, while he has given up his sort of conventional job, his art career hasn't really taken off yet. And he does also feel guilt about that because his family is used to, you know, a certain style and a certain lifestyle that they've become accustomed to over the years. And, you know, now that he's not bringing in the same paycheck every month, that lifestyle is kind of lacking a little. So that's something. So I didn't really want the house to be complete, but, you know, I wanted there to be enough of a basis. Like, I feel like after the fire which killed Darlene, you know, they would have redecorated everything, and they would have probably had quite like a big insurance payout, assuming the whole house was destroyed. I mean, that's kind of like my sort of headcanon for it anyway, is, you know, like, there was a big house fire, you know, Darlene couldn't be saved. You know, if it was just like a small kitchen fire, you know, Darlene's like a capable woman, like, she'd be able to get out. So I'm kind of thinking, you know, the whole place just went up and there was nothing anybody could do. That's kind of like my head canon for the whole thing. I'm pretty sure it's a fire she died in anyway. I could just be making that up, but I'm like 90% sure it is a fire. I'm pretty sure that is what's in his memories. Again, I haven't played Pleasantview since we played it on my channel, so at the start of last year, last summer. And Darren's not a sim that I'm overly fond of, so I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to his memories. Which I probably should have. I don't know, maybe I can do something with Darren to make him more fun to play. To make him more of like a main character rather than like a sideline character. I just feel like in Pleasantview, all these sims have really big stories and big personalities, and then you just have like Darren, and it's like, he doesn't quite match up. Because like if you consider like the Goth family, they're like obviously an institution of the neighbourhood, and then you have the Calientes who, you know, there's the alien history, there's the, you know, love affair with Mortimer, there's the romance sim. Then you have Dawn, who obviously has ties into Bella's disappearance, but also he's a romance sim, and although he is literally the worst, he's so much fun to play. And then obviously Brandy broke with the mysterious pool ladder accident, which killed Skip. And, you know, the Pleasants, Daniel's big affair with Kaylin. So there is just so much going on with these other families. And then you go into a family like the Dreamers or the Burbs, and it's like, this is just a bit boring. I feel like Darren should have been a bin family, you know? That's kind of my thought. I feel like they tie into other sim stories, but they don't really have like a story of their own. And that's an issue I have with them. But that, I just maybe need to find something better to do with them. Like that could be the issue. I'm just not playing them to their full potential. So let me know, what do you do with the Dreamers in your neighbourhoods? What has been your most fun Darren storyline? Or is Darren like a side character for you as well? Is he just a spouse and nothing more? Let me know, because I could be using some inspiration for the Dreamers right about now. I do enjoy Dirk though, as I said earlier. I do like Dirk. I think Dirk is fun, and once Dirk, you know, becomes an adult and he sort of comes into his own, I do think, you know, he's really fun to play. And I always like it when Dirk goes to university, because I like to make him, you know, become a success. Him and Lilith, what a couple, what an absolute power couple. I love them. So I'm looking forward to exploring, you know, their futures. Darren will just leave here to die, you know. Bit extreme, but you know, that's kind of what we're doing. Here's Darren's little art room though. I do quite like how the art room came out. I did think I had sort of more like arty clutter, but I obviously don't. And I kind of struggled with what to put on the walls, because I did want Darren to sort of paint things and, you know, decorate the house himself. But at the same time, I didn't want to leave empty walls because it just looks really bad. So I do think that's going to be like a work in progress, like while we play. Like, you know, when Darren makes more art and we don't need to sell it to pay the bills, he can hang up somewhere. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So that's what I'd like to do anyway. But you know, art is expensive, and that is where a lot of our money went. I do remember saying while I was streaming, you know, oh, I hope they have like a painting that's secretly worth like 5,000 simoleons that you can just sell and, you know, make all our money back. But sadly not. The house is full of just rubbish, like absolute rubbish. I have put like a little study area up here on the landing, but I do kind of want to change that. Looking back at this footage, I do really think that sort of weird modern desk would have fit really well in here. It's not like a modern house, and I wouldn't really say the house has like a modern style, but I just feel like that desk is just quirky enough to sort of fit in the Dreamer house. Like the original landing, that had the sort of big wooden cable roll, wire roll things. I don't know if you know what I mean, but you know, like construction sites usually have them when they're like laying wires and things in buildings. I talk like I know what I'm going on about, but I don't. But they're usually like big industrial things. You know, he had like 3 of them set up as coffee tables, and he had like his art station set up. So like the upstairs was actually very quirky. So I do feel like that desk would probably fit in quite nicely. So that's maybe something I'd like to get into the house when we have more money, because I think that was quite an expensive desk. I also probably want to change Darren's bedroom. I really like his feature wall, but the rest of it I'm not a huge fan of, and I would rather get him a different rug as well that maybe takes up more of the floor space. I know at this point in the build I was just kind of wanting to be done, and I was also very conscious of the fact we didn't have a lot of money left. So, you know, he just got a bunch of rubbish like slapped in his room and it was fine. But yeah, I feel like there is still quite a bit of work to be done in the house. Though, as I said, I would probably just demolish the entire thing. Dirk's room came out okay, but I do feel like a beanbag or something wouldn't go amiss in there, just to kind of tie everything together. His room looks a bit like, you know, like a showroom, you know, in sort of, or a TV set or something. Like, this is like a stereotypical teen room, but you know, it doesn't really have a bunch of personality in it, and that's something I feel this house is lacking, is personality, and I'm not entirely sure how to inject it. So, you know, that's a thing. I do think we are coming to the end of the video now, so I am going to wrap things up here. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Dreamer family. You know, what do you do with Darren? How do you make him fun? On maybe bringing a Sims 3 series to the channel. Do we do Sims 2? Leaning heavily towards that. And yeah, just let me know. I always love hearing from you. If you want to give the video a like, I would also really appreciate that. And yeah, I will catch you guys all in the next video. Bye!